Hello, 8th grade. It is Thursday, April 2nd. I hope you're having a good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you got up today. Our lesson today is on multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. Okay, remember a monomial means there's only one term. So we're taking one term times other terms. Now, before we do that, we need to go over some exponent rules that we're going to be using. Okay, the first rule is the product rule. Remember, that's when we are multiplying a variable with an exponent times another variable with an exponent. When that happens, right, we need to add the exponents, right? We do not multiply them, we just add them. So in this problem, we will do 5 times the -9 to get -45. S to the second times s to the second is s to the fourth. T to the second times t, all right, I guess it would be t to the first, all right, the 1 is hidden. That will give us t to the third, all right, so this would be our answer. Okay, the next rule that we need to go over is the power to the power rule. All right, that's when you have an exponent inside the parentheses with another exponent directly on the outside of the parentheses. When that happens, we need to multiply the exponents, not add them. So p to the 5th all raised to the 4th power would be p to the 20th. Okay, so now that we've gone over those, let's look at some examples that you're going to be seeing in your math book. Okay, here's our first one, which is 2c to the third d to the third, all raised to the 2nd power. And then our second term is 5c to the 10th. Whenever you have a problem that has a power to a power, that is where you start. All right, so that's your starting point. So I did 2 squared, which is 4. C to the third raised to the 2nd power is c to the 6. D to the third raised to the 2nd power is d to the 6. Okay, and then I brought down my second term, which was 5c to the 10th. All right, now I multiply those two together, which is the product rule, which means that I will be adding the exponents. So I did 4 times 5 is 20, c to the 6 and c to the 10th is c to the 16th. I added 6 and 10 to get 16. And then d to the 6, there's no d in the other term, so I just bring it over and add it to my answer. Okay? Let's look at the next one. -8ab to the third, and then they have parentheses, and then they have a trinomial inside the parentheses. When this happens, all right, this is the distributive property. So we need to take -8ab to the third times this term, then -8ab to the third times the second term, and then -8ab to the third times the third term. Okay, when we do that, -8ab to the third times 3a to the third b turns into a -24. A to the 4th, all right, this a, if you want to put a 1 in there to remind you, 1 plus 3 gives us the 4. B to the 3rd times b, if you want to put your 1 in there, that gives us b to the 4th. Okay, remember we are adding exponents, it's the product rule. Then the next one, we're going to take this times our second term. -8 times -2 is a +16. A to the first times a to the second is a to the third. B to the third times b to the second is b to the 5th. Then we need to do distributive property one more time. Okay, negative 8 times a negative, if you want to put a 1 in here, will give us the positive 8. A to the first times a to the first will give us a squared. B to the third times b to the third will give us b to the 6. Okay, so once again, this one was really big on distributive property. All right, now let's look at this one at the bottom. We have an example of distributive property right here. Okay, a monomial times a trinomial right here. And then after we do that, we're going to add it to another trinomial and then combine terms. Okay, so the first thing I did was distributive property. 2uv times u squared is 2u to the third v. Then I do it again. 2uv times uv is 2u squared v squared. Then I do it a third time. 2uv times negative v squared will give you negative 2uv to the third. Okay, so basically I did distributive property first. Okay, then I took the second trinomial and brought it down. Okay, now I have to go through and combine like terms. Okay, let me pick out a different color. I have 2u to the third v. And if I look over here, I have 4u to the third v. And that is how I got this answer of 6u to the third v. Okay, here's my next one. 2u squared v squared. I'm going to add it to this. If I want to put a negative 1 in here to help you. All right, when I combine those two, I get a positive 1, u squared v squared. Okay, now let's do our third term. I have a negative 2 uv to the third, and when I add it to a positive 7 uv to the third, a negative 2 and a positive 7 will give us 5uv to the third. Okay, now there's one more problem I want to go over with you. Pretty much half of your homework, I guess almost half of your homework is very similar to this problem. So I wrote out number 7 for you, and on your attached document, I'll say something like, you're going to solve this just like number 7. All right, do this one like number 7. Okay, so pay attention to this part of the video. You might need to rewind it and pause it when you start doing your homework. So we have this monomial sticking out front. Okay, and then we have two monomials that need to get multiplied together. All right, and then we are going to take that answer and subtract it from our first term. Okay, so the first thing I noticed on this problem is, see how we have this 2 outside the parentheses? Remember, that's a power to a power. Okay, that's where you always want to start if you have one of those. So I did 12 to the second power is 144. X to the second raised to the second power, we multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. We get x to the fourth. Okay, if you want to put a little 1 next to your y, y to the first raised to the second power is y squared. Okay, so I did this part first. Then I brought down the second term, all right, or I guess it's the third term, the one that comes after it. Okay, so now I need to take this monomial and times it by this monomial. So 144 times 3, you get So if you want to think of it as x to the 4th times 1, just gives you x to the 4th. Y squared times y to the 4th. Okay, this is your product rule where you add your exponents. This will give you y to the 6th. Right, so that is the answer to the second and third terms. So then I needed to bring down the first term, which is 6x to the 4th, y to the 6th. Then the answer that we just got for the second and third term. Okay, we want to notice that they are the same exponents to the same power, so we can combine like terms. So a positive 6 and a negative 432 will give us a negative 426. All right, and then we add on our variables and exponents. Negative 426, x to the 4th, y to the 6th. Okay, so 8th grade. This problem, you're going to see it, I think, 3 or 4 different times on your homework. Did not give you a lot of problems. All right, see what you can do with them. And like I said, go back and look at this example. It will help you. I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday. On Friday, we're going to take it a little easy. Your assignment will be to get 1 green light and 10 correct Prodigy problems. I will post that on Classroom on Friday just to remind you. So you get a break from polynomials on Friday, which I think we all need. Okay. Have a good day and stay safe, everybody. Thank you.